Thank you, grade 12. If you can quickly sit down so that we can quickly finish our lesson on the bank reconciliation. I've got another activity here, exercise 2, where we are going to do part A and part B. You are provided with information relating to AMA stores. In part 1, they ask you to indicate whether the following information relating to bank reconciliation statements are true or false. If false, change the information so that it can become true, something like that. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Number 1, they mention that service fees and interest on overdraft shown on the bank statement should be recorded as bank charges in the CPJ. Okay, quickly think. What is the one thing that I mentioned in the previous lesson? That bank interest on overdraft is not bank charges. So this one is false. And the reason why it's false is because interest on overdraft is not equal to bank charges. Okay, number 2. A credit balance on the bank statement reflects a favorable bank balance. If you are not sure, you quickly do this. Remember the mirror image. This is the bank plus minus. And then we've got the bank statement there. And this is the bank statement. And this is minus plus. And they mention a credit balance on the bank statement reflects a favorable bank balance, and that is true. Number 3. A post-dated check received in September but dated for October will only be recorded in the CRJ on the 25th of October. I'm going to show you just a little bit later. Okay, let me quickly do it before we decide on this one, because I've got a little bit of information here on post-dated checks. I want you to quickly concentrate on this. Okay, where is it now? It's there. Okay. Read with me. If you receive a post-dated check, the procedure that the clerk must follow in respect of a post-dated check received. Okay, so you received today is the 23rd of April 2014. So you received today a check that is dated today is the 23rd of April 2014. The date on the check is the 5th of May 2014. If you receive this check today, what must you do? You record the check on the date that you receive it in a special book by mentioning the following. The date the check was received, this is today. You mention the name of the drawer. So you've got like a little special book, like a little black book or something that works very, very good is a normal diary. So the moment that you receive a check that was dated for the 5th of May, you open your diary on the 5th of May. And you put the check in there on the 5th of May. Because then, every day you can just open your diary on that specific date and you can see what checks are, what checks is there that's not post-dated anymore. The check number you must mention, the bank and the branch number, you write it down in your little book, the value of the check, and the date of the due date of the check. And what is the due date? It's the 5th of May. So with that information, you open your diary on the 5th of May, you write down this check was received on the 23rd of April. It was, the name of the drawer is this, and the check number is this, and the due date is the 5th of May, and then you leave it there. You don't do anything more with it. A post-dated check cannot go through the bank before the due date. When the business receives the post-dated check, the clerk must put it in a safe place and make a note of the due date so he does not forget about the check. That's why you can put it in your diary or in a book and you can show the date there. On the due date, what is going to happen on the 5th of May? On the 5th of May, we are going to write out the receipt, we are going to record the transaction in the CRJ, and we are going to deposit the check. So on the 5th of May, that is the date, that is the due date on the check. On that day, you can write out your receipt, you can put it in your CRJ, and you can deposit the check. But what if you issued a post-dated check? Not received, but issued. On the date that the check was issued, you record it in the CPJ because of number order. You record it in the CPJ because of number order, and that is the post-dated check that we issued. Not received, issued. You show it in your bank reconciliation statement as outstanding for as long as it is necessary. So that means now, today we issued a check for the 5th of May. So what are we going to do today? We are going to put it in the CPJ because of the number order. Then we put it, we show it on the bank reconciliation statement for the end of April. And then if they don't bring the check to the bank for the end of May and for another 6 months. So that is what happened on the date that the check was issued. On the due date, the check will go through the bank within 6 months after the due date. So then the check will automatically go through the bank, and the moment that it goes through the bank, then you're going to stop putting it on the bank reconciliation statement. So this is the difference between receiving a check, receiving a post-dated check. When you receive a post-dated check, you take your diary, you make a note of the check, you also make a note of the due day of the check, and you wait for that day. You cannot do anything before that day. And on that day, you write out the receipt, you put it in your CRJ, and you deposit it. But if you issued a post-dated check, you record it in the CPJ right away on that specific day in number order. You show it on the bank reconciliation statement as outstanding, and then you wait, and after the due date, the check will go through the bank within 6 months. Now we can quickly go back to our questions, true or false. Okay, we were busy with number 3. A post-dated check received by Amos Stores in September, but dated the 25th of October, will only record it in the CRJ on the 25th of October, and that is 100% true. Because this is the one that we are going to put in a safe place and wait for the due date. A post-dated check issued by Amos Stores in September, but dated the 25th of October, will only be entered in the CPJ on the 25th of October, which is false. Because it will be recorded in the CPJ on that specific day during September. They haven't got a specific date there, but you are going to put it in the CPJ in September 2009 because of the number order. The internal auditor of Amos Stores will inspect the bank reconciliation statements at the end of each month. That is true. And the bank reconciliation statement should be prepared every month to assist maintaining internal control of the cash of the business. And that is exactly why we do bank reconciliation every month, for that internal control purposes, So this is true. We've got information there in part B.